been full of emotions. I've seen people cry, but I've also seen people chant and people dance. When we first got here, there was less than 100 people here. But as you can see now, there are hundreds. Jocelyn was an older sister, but still daddy's little girl. Maria says the family sends their kids to school every day to get educated and to have a better future. We actually saw some of that ice and snow melt and come down here straight towards this flooding. Not only does she want to empower Latinas, but she also wants to help them transform their style. At the state capitol, advocates are gathering to show their support for immigrants and refugees. Several women who were secretly recorded during intimacy by a man in Nashville were unable to prosecute him. A memorial is growing outside Chadwell Elementary School for Niurka Alfonso Acevedo. Metro Police say she was killed in the school's parking lot on Monday. For decades, the Attucks building was the only place Black students could get an education in Christian County. Just right here where I'm standing was the foundation of a barn, and the roof is now all the way back there. And right now we have a great view of these airplanes. Are you scared that your family is going to be separated with this new administration? A family gathering filled with love, yet a piece of their heart is missing.
Me duele todos los días y hoy en especial por su cumpleaños.
It hurts every day, says Jocelyn Escalante, but especially on her birthday. Heartfelt messages filled Diana Escalante's room for her 17th birthday. Her mom, Jocelyn, decorated it herself.
Quise hacerle eso en memoria de ella.
I wanted to do this in her memory, and so that she knows that she will always be in our minds
Su corazón.
and in our hearts. Jocelyn ensures the bedroom remains just as her daughter left it. Her clothes are hanging neatly. Her makeup is on the vanity, and her soccer shoes resting on the bed.
No era la forma en que ella se tenía que ir. No así.
It wasn't the way for her to die. Not like that.
Sadly, the scene of yet another deadly school shooting.
The victim, a classmate, a 16-year-old girl.
On January 22nd, a student opened fire in Antioch High School's cafeteria, shooting Diana and injuring another student before taking his own life. Jocelyn and her family rushed to the school and witnessed Diana's final moments.
Yo sabía que mi hija ya no iba a volver.
I knew she wasn't going to come back because I saw her mouth full of blood. I saw her.
Y fue algo muy duro para mí.
And it was something incredibly hard for me. But Jocelyn's grief has been complicated, navigating the loss of a child while she was already pregnant with another.
Just need people to care. We need to love on one another.
That's why in the midst of Diana's birthday, the community also organized a baby shower.
Be here on a special day, on the baby girl to come soon.
Family members and strangers gathered to welcome the new life on the way.
We just wanted to ease that pain a little bit and welcome her new baby girl to this world.
For the Escalante family, this outpouring of support has been a source of comfort.
Estuvo muy bonito.
It was beautiful, and we thank the community for everything. Yet, even in these fleeting moments of joy,
Recordarla a ella es muy duro.
Jocelyn can't help but reflect on the piece that's missing, the puzzle of the heart, mourning one life while welcoming another at the same time. In Nashville, I'm Patsy Montesinos, News Channel 5. With her documents in hand, Yali Molero implores officers for help as immigrants are bussed out of Nashville.
No sé nada de él.
I don't know anything about him, Yali says. On Sunday around 5 a.m., she discovered her husband, Leogene Romero, was missing. It wasn't until she saw a social media post about ICE activity that she saw him being arrested.
Mi esposo no es una mala persona.
My husband is not a bad person, says Yali. She says he was stopped after leaving his 12-hour shift at Walmart around 1 a.m. Yali says he was carrying a valid temporary license with him.
Es un momento de angustia.
She describes feeling anguish and despair, trying to find out if he's okay. Fleeing political persecution in Venezuela, Yali and Leogene arrived in the U.S. 9 months ago through the CBP One app, a Biden-era program for migrants to legally be in the U.S. for 2 years. After the Trump administration announced it was ending the program, they hired a lawyer to help with their asylum case.
Su social, esta es la hoja que nos dieron sellada.
She shows me her husband's work permit and his asylum paperwork showing his court date in March of 2027 to plead their case. We're doing everything right to have a better life and help our families in Venezuela, says Yali.
Ayudar a nuestros familiares que están en
Her
Venezuela.
biggest fear is Login being deported to El Salvador. She asked the government to send him back to his country of origin. Yali says he's not a criminal,
Él no es un delincuente.
and it hurts that immigrants are being stereotyped. She plans to sell their car in hopes of hiring an attorney as Yali explores every possible avenue to help her husband.
Dios mira, Dios sabe, Dios.
She says God is watching what is happening, and he knows who they truly are.
He would say, Daddy, if you don't get me out of here, I'm going to die in here.
During his first week of being in prison, Tim Leeper says his son was stabbed. After being convicted of arson, Kylan was sent to Trousdale Turner in May 2023, the state's biggest private prison.
He didn't get proper medical treatment, and he was left for 3 days in his cell with bloody clothes. I actually had to send a cash app to him for him to purchase Dial soap and bandages. That's when I knew we had a problem.
Less than 2 weeks after he turned 25, Kylan was found dead in his cell from a fentanyl overdose. Leeper believes his son accidentally took a laced pill to calm his anxiety and fear.
I remember putting both hands on his casket before they lowered it into the ground, and I said, I will do what I can to help those that are left behind, because I know what kind of issues that he had to navigate.
After Kylan's death, Leeper says he's working to bring attention to a pattern of death at the facility.
They had 31 deaths in Trousdale in 2021.
He collects data and creates awareness through his nonprofit, Kylan's Light.
So my goal with this nonprofit is to bring dignity, rehabilitative opportunity, and reintegration planning into our Tennessee prisons. And the only way to do that is to divest out of private prisons.
The state prison, which is managed by Core Civic, is being investigated by the DOJ for understaffing, murder, and physical and sexual assault. Currently, more than 2,500 men are serving time. Leeper says he will continue fighting for those still struggling behind bars.
I want my son's life to count for more than just a death in a cold prison cell where nobody was around. And he didn't have anyone that he loved there when he died. He deserved better than that. The inmates that are dying in these prisons, they deserve better than what they're getting from the TDOC and Core Civic.
He hopes a new spotlight on the prison after an inmate riot over the weekend will finally help bring change.
And I really hope that this can be a catalyst for change in our Tennessee state prisons.
Reporting, I'm Patsy Montesinos, News Channel 5.